guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with another episode of the Hallmark book versus the Hallmark movie for Christmas movies and books. And this time around it is Jingle Bell Bride, and I read the book first, and I actually read it over a week ago and let a week go by, and then I finally watched the movie 2 days ago. So this one's very interesting because this is the most different I have seen an adaptation be between the book and the movie, and I had to go back and look through reviews just to make sure I wasn't going crazy that all of these things did not even happen in the book. And so in the book we have Jessica, my name, who is a wedding planner, and she is like a very high caliber wedding planner. She works for celebrities and she's very wealthy. She lives in New York, and I immediately wasn't the biggest fan of her character because there was one point where she ends up having to go to Alaska. I have to set this up before I tell you why I don't like her character. She has to go to Alaska to get these special flowers for her client because her client's like, I need these Alaskan flowers, and her wedding's in like 2 days, and the wedding in the book is in London. And so she flies to Alaska, gets snowed in with nowhere to go, and the guy who is in charge of the flowers ends up picking her up at the airport. And so since she's stuck in Alaska, she has no luggage. She didn't plan on spending any time in Alaska, just get the flowers and go. He says, we need to get you proper Alaskan outerwear. So they go to a store, and immediately she was like, wow, I can buy an entire outfit for $200. I just bought a t-shirt for $200 last week, and I don't love the cliche rich girl kind of trope going on. And I was like, okay, even if you're rich, you know you can buy a whole outfit for $200. Like, why are you acting like it's this phenomenon that clothes can be cheap? And so I immediately was like, oh, I don't know how much I like this character. She's snowed in and has to stay with the hero, and the hero is dealing with the loss of, I don't remember if it was his wife or his fiance, but she died. And so Jessica has this wedding dress with her, and the wedding dress is her client's, and it's like her 4th wedding dress or something. It's ridiculous. And so she has it with her and hangs it up in her room that she's staying in. And so he gets really sad because he's still grieving over the loss of his loved one, and he hasn't gotten over it yet. This loved one didn't really exist in the movie. And so they end up spending time together, and she has to contemplate her future, and she ends up using his landline to make a million phone calls to London and racks up that international call bill. But she has a dream of opening a bookshop, and she's so organized. She's all these lists and plans and double lists and relist things, and she's really list savvy. And so they end up falling for each other. And so the book is very short. He also has a reindeer farm as well, or raises reindeers or something, which I loved about the book, which was not in the movie. In the movie, we have Jessica, who is a wedding planner, and she is planning this wedding for the celebrity. It's in New York though, it's not in London, and she actually wants to transfer to a job in London, and that's why this job is so important to her, which I actually thought was a really good addition to the movie because I didn't see any sense of urgency with her job at the present because it was just her job. But in the movie, she really wanted to do well because her job was on the line, this promotion in London, and she wanted to move to London. And she had a sister in the movie, and I liked the sister and the niece a lot, and she didn't really have, I want to say, I don't even think they even mentioned family in the book. I don't remember there being that big of a connection with her with anybody in the book at home, and so I did appreciate that connection she had to someone else in the movie. And it showed her contemplating her job versus spending time with her family because her niece was always disappointed that she would miss out on a lot of things. Before I forget, this actress is from A Cinderella Story. She was, I think it was Stacy is her name. She was the main mean girl in A Cinderella Story. And as the ads were playing, I watched this with my sister. We were twins, so we grew up watching everything together. There are so many actors and actresses on Hallmark from ABC Family and random teen movies and shows that we watched as teens. And so one of the characters in one of the movies is from The Secret Life of the American Teenager. Another one is from, oh, what is the show called? Make It or Break It. That was on ABC Family. That there's also some of those actresses are in stuff. And then we have Pretty Little Liars actors and actresses. And so all of these actors and actresses from these TV shows from 10 years ago are all now on Hallmark movies, and I think it's hilarious. So I kept on quoting those things while we were watching it because that was all that was stuck in my head. So she is from A Cinderella Story, and that's what I remembered her from. But I don't even remember where I was going. Oh yeah, so she has a connection with family in the movie, and then she ends up going to Alaska to pick up these flowers, and it just so happens that she misses the last flight out, and then they get snowed in. And she gets snowed in during this giant festival there, and she actually wins the Jingle Bell like princess and has to be really involved with the festival. And I don't even remember a festival in the book, unless I'm really not remembering this book well, because it wasn't really that memorable in the first place. I don't remember this festival being there, and I really liked that addition in the movie, though the movie was kind of boring. Not a whole lot happened. I think that they didn't have the best of chemistry between them two, the female and the male leads in the movie, and it was just like fine, like they were just spending time together. There was a lot about the community in the movie, which I know was also kind of in the book because they went to visit the bookshop and they went in town, but there was no like giant festival that I can remember that was so prominent to the plot like it was in the movie. So I did like that addition into the movie. And she kind of slowly forgot like about her job, especially more so in the movie than in the book. But in the book she kept on stressing about the job like 24/7 and like spending all of her time making calls. But the reindeer were super cute in the book, and I wish that they had that in the movie. And so this book and movie weren't that special to me. I feel like there's like nothing more I can say about these because the book was pretty short. I listened to the audiobook. It was only a 5-hour audiobook, so I flew through it in one day, and it was just okay. And I feel like in the book I was very disappointed in Jessica for getting mad at our hero for something because he was trying to help further her dreams, and she got really angry at him that he would do that behind her back. And I was like, but he's doing it for you and it is your dream. And in the book it was very insta love. After like 2 days they were like declaring their love for each other, and he was still grieving over his loss. In the movie he actually was divorced and hiding out in Alaska because he had to help a family member, but he still had a job in New York. So I knew the endings were going to be different because it sounded like because he still had a life and job in New York that he was gonna be in the same city as she was. But in the book he was always in Alaska and he was not going to leave Alaska. And so the book's bookshop plot line kind of seemed out of nowhere because she was like throwing herself into this job that she had, but apparently like had always dreamed of opening a bookstore with literacy components to it. And it was just like, I would have liked a little bit more depth into her and why she wanted to do that and why that was such an important part of her life, instead of just being like, oh well, she's also has this other dream just for like a plot point. So I did not love how angry she got at him for wanting to further her dream of opening a bookstore, but I did like her whole list kind of personality and how obsessive she was over this wedding and how she was constantly on the phone and organizing things, while in the movie she wasn't. And in the movie she had a competition at her work. We got to see her at her office and like someone wanting to take the job from her, and I did like that added drama to it. But overall the book I ended up giving 3 stars. It was just okay. I wanted a little bit more from the romance. I did think it was insta love and the plot was just fine and the conflict was kind of annoying at the end, so I gave that 3 stars. But the movie I also gave 3 stars. So the movie was not anything special. I didn't love the chemistry between the characters. The acting was okay, and I did enjoy the festival though. And talking about them, I will have to say that I like the movie over the book just because there are so many differences, and I liked stuff from each of them. But I think that having that festival and her winning princess and really bonding with people in town was a lot better than what the book did. So while they were both just average, a book and an average movie, I do think that the movie did it better. So I'm pretty sure now we're at 3 for the movie and 2 for the book. So I only have 2 of these left. So I'm gonna end on an odd number. So one of these has to win, but I'm pleasantly surprised by how often each of these are winning. So I don't go in knowing which one's gonna win because I have liked the movie better for some, but I have liked the book better for others. And my next one, I promise, is going to be the Lisa Kleypas one, which I know is the most requested one of these. And I'm very excited to finally get to Christmas Eve at the harbor or something, but the movie is Christmas with Holly, so I'm gonna do that next. I already have it recorded on my Friendly app. I have so many movies recorded that I want to get to that don't necessarily have to do with this whole series, but I'm so happy I did the series. Like I said, there are only 2 more episodes left. The next one is Christmas with Holly, and then we will see what the next one is, and then Christmas will be here and I won't need to do this anymore. But let me know if you've watched Jingle Bell Bride or if you've read the book. I would love to hear, and let me know if you have seen these actors from these teenager shows that were from like 10 years ago all over Hallmark, because I feel like they're all over Hallmark and it's just fabulous that they're still acting and they're just in Hallmark movies now. But that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.